Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to recap the Bengals 2015 NFL season. I'm probably going to publish this as soon as I'm done filming and editing because tonight's game against the Steelers just has me in such like a horrible and disgusted mood. I just want to get this video over with. So usually I only publish videos on like Wednesday or Thursday, but because of the way this game went, I just want to get this uploaded and out of the way. So yeah, let me recap the season for you like I try and do every year. 2015 started out fantastic. Bengals came sprinting out of the gates with an 8-0 record. Had phenomenal, incredible games against the Baltimore Ravens. The first Pittsburgh Steelers game up in Pittsburgh, and my personal favorite game of the entire season when they came back from 17 points down in the fourth quarter against the Seattle Seahawks and won in overtime when Mike Nugent banked in a field goal to give the Bengals a win. That was probably the highest point of the season in my opinion, and at the time, I thought it was kind of symbolic of the way the season could go. They had all their stars back who were hurt the year before. Tyler Eifert was having a great year and really becoming a force in the NFL. Marvin Jones was back and really complimented the wide receiving corps with A.J. Green and Mohamed Sanu. And Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard kind of had down years, but they started to find their stride toward the end of the season. And Andy Dalton playing out of his mind. It was the best he had ever been in the NFL. And in my opinion, was an MVP candidate until he broke his thumb. And then on the defensive side, Geno Atkins came back, and he and Dunlap just ate up offensive lines. George Iloka, Reggie Nelson, they did pretty well in the secondary. Reggie Nelson leading the league with interceptions. And then you got passionate guys like Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict, and yeah, that passion kind of cost the Bengals tonight. So that 8-0 start became a 12-4 regular season finish as the Bengals' only 4 losses of the season came against Houston, Arizona, and Denver, and Pittsburgh. Now, the Houston, the Denver, and the Arizona games, those were all really tight games, came down to the wire. Everybody always said that the Bengals always choked in prime time under the lights, got blown out, but I think they proved that this year that they were for real. Those games always came down to the wire. The Bengals didn't get blown out. They looked prepared, and their only bad loss was against the Steelers at Paul Brown Stadium, the second Steelers game of the year, when Dalton broke his thumb on the first offensive drive. Eifert goes out on the first offensive drive with a concussion. Pac-Man Jones was out. George Iloka was out. It was a very injured team taking on the Steelers, with A.J. McCarron pretty much getting thrown into the game with little preparation. So that was the only bad loss of the season. Bengals finished the year with 12-4 record. And yeah, first round of the playoffs, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in a rematch that was 10 years in the making. You have to go back to the 2005-06 season when the Bengals made it back to the playoffs for the first time then in 15 years. I was 13 years old and in the 8th grade at that time, and that was the best Bengals team I had ever seen in my life. Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson, T.J. Houshmandzadeh, Rudy Johnson. Just the best team I'd seen in my life up to that point. And of course, everybody in Cincinnati remembers Carson Palmer going down on the first offensive drive after completing a bomb to Chris Henry, and the Bengals ended up losing. And this curse has seemingly been placed on the Bengals since. They cannot get over the hump in the postseason, and I thought tonight was going to be the night. I thought the 05 team was good. This was by far the best Bengals team I had ever seen. Just the amount of weapons they had on offense and defense. I thought this team, if they could get past Pittsburgh, they would have Andy Dalton back the following week and could make a run at the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, they shot themselves in the foot big time. So this game was a defensive battle throughout, and the refs and the officials, they, in my opinion, did an awful job of controlling this game. I'll get into that later, but in the end, the Bengals, with I think a little under 2 minutes left, finally took the lead after trailing the entire game. They finally took the lead in the fourth quarter, a little under 2 minutes left, A.J. McCarron completes a 25-yard pass to A.J. Green for a touchdown. The Bengals go on top by 1 point. They're leading 16-15 at this point. And I was thinking, oh my God, finally a Bengals postseason win in my lifetime. I could taste it. It was so close. And then they kick off the ball. Vontez Burfict, who had been playing a great game the entire night, was not getting into trouble. Picks off, I think it was Landry Jones, because Ben Roethlisberger had to leave the game for a little bit with an injury. He picks it off, runs back into the tunnel for some reason, or the locker room or whatever, with a bunch of other defensive players. Seemingly thinking the game was over, despite there being like 90 seconds left on the clock. And so it looks like the Bengals are just going to try and run out the clock. And I went from being pissed off with the Bengals not being able to score to being over the moon with them finally taking the lead. And then Jeremy Hill fumbles it. Steelers, they begin to drive, but the defense has been playing well all night. They're limiting them on that final drive of the game. And it looked like Pittsburgh was not going to get in the field goal range, but then Roethlisberger throws a pass to, I think it was Antonio Brown. Burfict clips Brown with his shoulder around the head. Looks like Brown gets knocked out. So that's a 15-yard penalty. And then there's like a scrummage. Like, there had been a ton of scrummages the entire game. The rest did a really bad job with this game. There's a scrummage. Joey Porter, one of the Steelers' coach, ends up on the field. I don't get how that was not flagged. Him and Adam Pac-Man Jones are jawing back and forth. Jones gets flagged for the penalty, and that puts the Steelers way up in field goal range. Basically a chip shot for the guy. He makes it. Bengals lose 18-16. Heartache again. Fifth straight playoff loss in a row. 7 playoff losses in my lifetime. I have yet to see a playoff win for my Bengals. And just a very, very disgusting way to end the season. The unnecessary roughness penalty, which was, come on, 30 shot all the way by Burfict. It may not, I don't know. Burfict has a reputation, so even though it may not have been intentional, with Burfict you never know. And Adam Jones, while I do understand that I'd be mad. I was mad that Porter was on the field, but Pat-Man's got to control his emotions better. That really cut the Bengals deep. And the jungle, Paul Brown Stadium, was rocking up until that point. It looked like the curse was going to be lifted. Bengals were going to move on to face New England, but it was just that entire season, that great season, just gone in a second. And so that was how the Bengals season ended. Good offense, good defense, best team I'd ever seen. And it came to a screeching halt tonight. And the officiating, my God, was the officiating bad. First of all, I don't know if you guys remember the first game between the Bengals and the Steelers, but that was horrendous officiating. That thing got out of control at the very beginning. Before the game even started, there was a huge fight before the game. They were fighting during the game. And then to make matters worse, the NFL assigns the head official who officiated the second Steeler-Bengal game to the playoff game. And this guy also officiated, I think it was the Panthers and the Giants game when Odell Beckham Jr. and that other dude kept getting into it. So I don't get what the NFL was doing there. It's obvious that the Bengals and the Steelers hate each other. So I don't get why you would assign that ref to this game. And then the brutality of it, they just let it get out of control. The Burfict hit, obviously. Joey Porter coming on the field. I have no idea why he was even on the field and didn't get flagged for it. Provoking Pac-Man Jones, who he should have kept his cool, but he did not. And then that one coach shoving Reggie Nelson on the sideline. What was up with that? And then the Shazier hit. I have no idea how that was not a penalty. That was obviously the catalyst to get the Bengals back into the game because, I was fired up just watching it. And the Bengals, they came out with a fire in their eyes and just clawed their way back into the game. And then that Shazier, though, that hit on Giovanni Bernard, I do not understand how that was not a penalty. Like, people, and understandably so, rightfully so, criticizing Vontaze Burfict for that horrendous hit on Antonio Brown. I mean, I hate the Steelers, but I did not want to see any of them get hurt like that. Antonio Brown, I mean, he took a nasty shot. And everybody's criticizing Burfict for that. But when Giovanni Bernard just got destroyed by Shazier and was knocked out, the announcers didn't make it seem like a big deal. So I was confused about that. And the refs didn't even throw a flag, which baffled me. I mean, if you watch it again, Bernard got destroyed. And then Shazier was on the sideline celebrating. I don't get it. The refs just totally lost control of the game, and unfortunately, my Bengals ended up losing the game. So a horrible, horrible night to be a Bengal fan, and yeah, I don't know where they're going to go from here. A lot of players, I think Aloka, this is a contract year for him. Reggie Nelson, it's a contract year for him. So they'll probably end up gone. Hugh Jackson, who I think played a huge role in turning Andy Dalton around, he'll probably be gone. Get a head coaching offer somewhere else. Paul Gunther may be gone. And then who knows? Marvin Lewis might be gone. I love Marvin Lewis, and while I do put blame on him for not being able to control his players toward the end of the game, I also feel sorry for him because he's not out there playing the game. I mean, you can only do so much. At the end of the day, it comes down to your players, and if they're smart enough to keep their cool. And obviously, a few guys on the defense were not smart enough to keep their cool, and it cost the Bengals big time. This is obviously the most heartbreaking sports loss for my teams that I've ever experienced. And yeah, it's going to sting for a long time. Yeah, but that's all I got. That's my recap for the 2015 season. Started out great. Looked like the Bengals were going to make a run, and then it just ended in a fiery crash. It was horrible. And yeah, so if you're wondering why this video is out early, it's because I wanted to get it done, because this loss was just a disgusting way to end the season. And yeah, the Bengals beat themselves and broke Cincinnati's heart tonight. So yeah, that's my recap. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and DNuggets33, I consider you a good friend of mine, and I love your videos and stuff, and I hate the Steelers, but you know, that's just sports rivalry. I still like your videos, still like you, so no hate. Congrats to your Steelers on the win. And yeah, but anyway, follow me on Twitter at Cincy Fan Zone, and check out my website, cincyfanzone.blogspot.com. I got a ton of different stuff up there. I write weekly blog posts. Every one of my YouTube videos is up over there. I got bobbleheads, autographs, pictures, and I'll probably end up writing a post about how bad the officiating was in this playoff game. Because, yeah, I think it played a huge role in just how bad the violence pretty much got, and the trash talking, and the just the overall bad sportsmanship in this game. So that's all I got. Stay tuned for more videos from Cincy Fan Zone, and thanks for watching.